So those of you who watched the previous tutorial will be familiar with this. It's the rectangle we made. We gave it some radiused corners and we cut a hole in the middle so that the speaker would fit in. We also gave it a thickness of 9 millimeters. The first thing I want to do is to make the piece that I just made into a component. So that's dead easy. Just triple click, 1, 2, 3, and then that selects everything. And then I right click on it and choose this option, which is make component. The other way I can do that is by triple clicking and then hitting this button up here, which is the make component button. I'm just going to call it front. And now I have my component window up here. If I open it, you'll see that now we have a component in there called front. I now want to make my component and the speaker stand up so I can put a back and some sides on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is rotate it through 90 degrees. Now to do that I need to first select it, and I'll also select the speaker, and I'm going to pick the rotate tool, and I need to rotate it in the green axis. Now so when I go onto this side it turns green. At this point I need to hold down shift and find a point about which I can rotate it. And I'm going to choose the middle point of that line. Click once, now I can let go of the shift key, pull out, and click again, and now that kind of forms a handle. So all I need to do now is type in 90 because we're working accurately, remember? And I've now rotated both the front and the speaker through 90 degrees. What I want to do next is put a back and some sides on my speaker. Now to make the side of my speaker I'm going to start off by drawing a rectangle just here. Now I know one of those sizes is 9 millimeters because my material is 9 millimeters thick. However, I don't know what the length of it has to be, so I can take the tape measure tool and I can find out the distance from here to here, and it'll tell me that it's 160 millimeters long. So I need a rectangle which is 160 by 9. So I'm going to draw it directly on that surface. At this point it doesn't need to be too accurate because I can type in my accurate dimensions later. And then I'm going to type in my size, and I can see down the bottom that the first one that I have to type is the longest one, so it's 160 and then comma 9, and then I've got a perfectly dimensioned rectangle. I then just need to take the push-pull tool and I can just click on it once, drag it out, and I'm going to make that 70. So again I just type in my size because I'm working accurately, hit the enter key, and you can see now that I have the beginnings of my first side of my speaker. So the piece that I just made, which is the side of my speaker, needs to now be made into a component. So triple click, and then I'm going to choose make component by right clicking, and then I'll call it side, press create, and now I should find in my component window I now have another component right just here called side. Now that I've made that side into a component, it's really easy to make the other side. So the way to do that is by using the move tool, but you do have to think a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my side piece, but I'm going to copy it at the same time. So I do that by picking up the move tool, and I need to move this corner to here. So I'm going to press the option key and the plus sign appears. That means I'm going to copy the thing I'm moving. Click once, move across, and then until I lock onto that point, and now you can see I have two sides to my speaker. So you can see now I've made another component called top, and what I'm going to do now is exactly the same as I did before, except I'm going to use this one then as the bottom part of the speaker as well. It's a little more tricky because I have to move it down and then put it in the correct position, but actually if I do it in 2 steps it's going to be much more easy. So first thing I'm going to do is move and copy at the same time. So I'm going to pick it up by this point, hit the option key, and then move a copy down, making sure that I stay on the blue axis. And I don't know whether I've moved it accurately now, but what I can do is move my view, and you can see that it's not really quite right. So what I need to do now is zoom in, and I know that to move this so that it's accurately positioned, this corner here needs to lock onto this endpoint here. So that's how I'm going to pick it up by this corner and move it so that it locks onto that endpoint.